morning, everyone. A quote I like to start with, something I recently recalled. Through traveling, a person discovers themselves. You see, traveling is one of the most wonderful things of life, right? Seeing new places, having new experiences, visiting the beauties of the entire world that you never knew existed. You would have often heard a lot of people say, through traveling, I was empowered. Through traveling, I discovered myself. Through traveling, I saw new cultures, new traditions, new customs, and a lot of people incorporate that in their lives. And more or less, that shapes them to their current self-being. Although traveling is very wonderful, the traveling I'm talking about here is not a physical one. Which brings me to ask you all a question. Have you traveled through the roots of your mind? You see, life, it's an inbuilt system that guides us towards our own self-development. It guides us towards our own growth, learning, and survival. We individuals have the capacity to develop ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally with our interactions, experiences, and challenges. This very natural process of our life also pushes us towards our own self-development, resilience, and finding purpose in life, even though life is completely unpredictable. Growing up, I used to think some individuals had superpowers. I used to think there were some men and women out there who were just way more capable than the rest of the population. I mean, they were way more charming. They just had it all. They knew how to handle a situation much better than the rest of them. But not too long ago, I discovered that superpower is there within each and every one of us. There were different phases of my life that I had to go through to see and understand what that superpower was and how to unlock it. Life, it gives you an opportunity every single day to learn, grow, and adapt. But it is your mind that is influenced with your childhood beliefs, with your values, with your circumstances, with the people of influence in your life, and your insecurities to make decisions, whether you're comfortable with it or not. It's solely your mind that's responsible for that. That's why people often say it's a battle between one's own self. And that battle continues constantly towards the road of prosperity, towards the road of getting something, towards the road of breakthrough. That is a constant battle with many different phases in it. Which brings us to the very first phase, discomfort. You know what is discomfort? Discomfort is that one day you're like, oh, that itch, something went wrong. I'm not fine, you're stuck. You're restless. There's something going wrong. And this is a very, very important phase, is because this is the phase that is responsible, which is your ignition to your change. My discomfort was in 2013, waking up in a hospital bed. I suffered 18 fractures on my skull, 3 of my ribs broken, multiple injuries all across my body, and I was in coma. I was in a support of a ventilator, giving me life. It took me 2 weeks for the doctor to say that he is going to survive now. What happens to an individual when you are met with an unfavorable circumstance in your life? You know what is the first thing that happens to all of us when we have an unfavorable situation? Is your second phase comes to your denial. Denial is the thing, because none of us like to be in an unfavorable situation. And the first thing, what happens to every individual, is that they try to blame the incident on external factors that were beyond their control. Because you have no idea, and you do not, because nobody wants to face an uncertain situation as a reality. That was me. Learning everything from ground zero. Learning how to pick things from the floor again, how to take a shower again, how to move from a chair to a car again. Frustrated, angry, depressed, lonely, sad, all at the same time at the age of 21. Where I found myself at all this in one go. This was me, angry at life, not knowing what happened, blaming on factors I knew that was beyond my reach, that was beyond my control. But for how long? How long will an individual go through anger and go through these phases? You, at one point, would have to reach to your phase 3, which is your awareness, which is your realization. You see, every individual in your life, when a big adversity happens, you will reach a crossroad where you have to make a choice. Are you going to change the situation, or are you going to make it remain the same? When that happened to me, I realized I had to stop being dependent on my doctors. I had to stop being dependent on my family. I mean, I was undergoing 20 surgeries from the age of 21 until date. And it wasn't looking nice. It wasn't looking very empowering. I wasn't seeing anything forward of me. But I knew I had to change my life. And that was just by a conscious thought that I have to do something about my life. With the little pinch of fire I had left in me, with the next video, you will see that pinch of fire. Thank you. You see, do you realize the day you start to change your life, the day you start deciding, you know what, I'm going to do something about my life, that is the day life is going to be 10x harder to you. That is the day you'll start seeing things that you never knew was there as a problem. The day you start making a difference, because it is easy to be in a comfort zone. It is easy not to do anything than to change a disadvantaged situation to an advantaged situation, which will bring you to your next phase, and that is struggle. Struggle and breakdown. This is the phase where a person builds a little bit of inner strength. You have a little bit more clarity. You have a little bit more fire because you know you're going in the right path when you're having roadblocks in front of you. And it is about beating those roadblocks every single time. So with that pinch of fire, when I thought I'll change my life, I thought to myself, how do I pick myself up from ground zero now? And I thought, what is the first thing that was denied to me after my accident? Because after my injury, all I heard was, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. All I heard was no's for a very long time. And I used to be an athlete in my school. I used to be a boxer in my college. I was a very high performance person. And then it just crashed one day. So I'm like, what is the first thing I do? The next video, the act I did in the next video you're about to see, changed my entire perception. That impossible is only what's in your head. After what I did, what you write about going to see, that changed my entire life. From then on, I never saw the impossible. This is a video where a lot of people said I wouldn't be able to go to my room because my wish was only to sleep in my room. The only problem is it was on the first floor. And I had to find a way to go to the first floor. One step at a time. They told me I can't walk, I can't run, so I decided why not crawl? Because everyone, when I told them I want to sleep in my room, everyone is like, Sujit, this is impossible. We cannot build a lift in this house. So I'm like, I need to get to my destination. It did not matter to me how I reached to my goal. For me, I had to reach. Everyone thought about walking and running and climbing. This was 18 steps up, which I used to do every single day and come back down in the morning. By the time I reached on top, I was sweating, I was panting, I was tired. But it was worth it because I got to reach to my goal. And that's when something in my head triggered me, Sujit, you just did the impossible. You know, when life, the most important thing that a person has to look forward to in life is, you know what? Is hope. Without hope, we have nothing. So when you start changing your life, you decide to change your life, you take one step at a time. You don't have to see the entire staircase. You just have to see the very next step. And the day you start seeing the very next step and take even half a step, your entire life opens up to many more doors ahead. And that's when momentum builds up. And that's what brings you to your seeking and learning. At this phase, you are constantly looking out for people who have done it before, people who can give you that fire, people who can give you that inspiration, people who can be mentors to you. And with me, I had to build that from scratch all over again. I started going to the gym. I started working on it. That's the days when I used to be stick and bones. Like I would fall off a chair if I was not holding on to something. In that condition, my mom used to wheel me to the gym. I got a little bit more stronger. I started going to the gym by myself. I got a little bit more independent. I started going out. I started talking to people. I started interacting with people. I started meeting some amazing people. I started getting a driving license. I started getting a job. I stayed by myself. I got way more independent, but it did not start overnight. It started bits and bits, little by little. I built that confidence over the years. This is a photograph when I was the official ambassador of the Dubai Fitness Challenge. I conducted an event for all these wonderful people where I was inspiring them. I inspired them in terms of fitness and in mindset. But is it enough? Wow, great story, but is it enough? You want real change, even how much ever work you put into it, you have to make sure that that is momentum. You have to have an action plan for it. You have to have a discipline for it. Everything that you do, you have to make a system around it. Only then that works, which will bring us to our next phase of action and discipline. You have to put in the commitment and work. Let me tell you, I wake up every day at 4:20 a.m. I'm in the gym by 5 a.m. I'm out of the gym by 6:30. I hate to do this. I do it even though I don't like it. I do it even if I have a late night. But I do this because by the time I'm done with my gym at 6:30 and I'm walking out of the gym, half the people I know have not even woken up or just waking up. And by this time, I have done the most difficult thing in my life that I don't like to do, is which waking up and going lifting weights. But that very activity puts a self-resilient mindset in my head that I have outworked most of the people. You build yourself, build your mind that you are a machine and that there is no one better than you, but knowing that everyone else out there can be better than you. That is a self of discipline you have to be having. I used to be a boxer in my college. I still never stopped and I still hit the bag. And with all these phases, once you keep doing it, before you know it, you reach into the most pinnacle of it, which is your final stage, your transformation and your upliftment. This is where you have a new identity. You're a new person altogether. My dear friends, life is not created with perfection. It is created with progression. I would like to show all of you right now a few years of how my journey has been from the past 12 years. These are a few of the features I've been having over the years. Spoken to more than 50,000 people till date. These are some of them, which was in Expo, which was a few TEDx talks, many schools. A few of the awards I've won over the years. And most importantly, I made a Guinness World Record for the largest GPS logo by a person of determination in the world. And this is the...
Congratulations, you are officially amazing!
My dear friends, so the next time you have a discomfort, know that in a discomfort there is an opportunity for growth. And just because you have come from phase 1 to phase 3, or phase 3 from phase 4, you can always bounce back to phase 1. Even at phase 5, you can come back to your discomfort, but always remember that it is about moving forward no matter how many times the route brings you back, because that is the only way to do the impossible. I'll tell you 4 things that I believe will make you 10 steps ahead in life. The 4 points that I've incorporated in my life. Rule number 1. You know what is the number 1 thing that people lack in getting their goals right? It's not lack of motivation, it's not lack of discipline. It is a lack of focus. We are in a world today that is filled with things to distract you from your focus. Whether it's your YouTube, whether it's your Netflix, whether it's all the pleasures out there in life, all this is built in a way to root you off your actual path, your actual goal. Time box all the things that you need to do. Focus on what you have to do. That should be your A-list priority. Number 2, your mornings. Win your mornings. You win your mornings, you win the rest of the day. Do the hardest things in the mornings, things that you don't like. The emails that you got to send, the people that you got to talk to, the things that you have to do, what you don't like it, when you're uncomfortable with it, do it the first thing in the morning. Same goes with life. Do the hardest things earlier up in life, the rest of your life becomes easier. Number 3, your mind and your body. Anything that you want to produce out there in the world has to start from within. Everything to do with how you function. That means drink about 3 liters of water every day. Lift weights. Read books. Enrich your mind. Work on yourself in every single way, in the way you sit, the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you look, the way your hair is, the way the words come out of your mouth, the way your charm is, the way you walk into a room where people should feel your aura. Work on every single aspect of your life to betterment at the optimal level, because why not? And number 4, which I believe is the most important thing, surround yourself with positive people. You are the energy that you share with the people around you, the 5 people that you're with. So be around with people who add value in your life, and you add value back in theirs. Because you're only one decision, one choice, one moment, a big, strong yes and a brave no from making these changes happen. So the next time someone tells you that it is impossible for you, always remember they have not been in the roots of your life, and they do not know the fire that lies within each and every one of you. Because all you need is belief, effort, and the courage to take off. And always remember, discomfort can be the biggest tool that you have. I'll leave you with a quote by Andre Gide. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Ladies and gentlemen, lead by example. Thank you. Thank you so much.